What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so Denver Nuggets head coach Mike Malone was asked his thoughts about the Michael Jordan versus the LeBron James argument, which rages every fucking day, every single minute. And he said, "quote It's always an ongoing argument about who is the GOAT. Michael obviously is up there and is the greatest of all time. There are not many Michael Jordans out there. I coached LeBron James for 5 years and have a great relationship with him. LeBron did not have the same mindset or killer mentality that Michael Jordan is supposed to have had, but LeBron James is arguably the greatest of all time as well. Michael Jordan was not just a great player. He would reach into your chest and pull your heart out if he had to win a game. You don't see that really often. He had that killer mindset and brought it every single night. And that's why all of these many years later, he's still considered the greatest of all time." Now, okay. Now, when you ever bring that up, whenever you bring that up, the lack of killer mentality with LeBron, like when you're debating Mike versus LeBron, and if you bring that up, I noticed that LeBron fans like to deflect. Like, for instance, if you're debating LeBron versus Michael, they will say shit like, "Oh, well, what about the time when Nick Anderson stole the ball? What about when Nick Anderson stole the ball?" And, you'd be like, "Okay, and? What does that really have to do with him quitting or not having a killer instinct? He didn't quit, you know. Okay, Nick Anderson stole the ball. He didn't quit, gave up. Man, fuck this shit, dog. I'm washed up. I'm going back to baseball." No, he didn't do that. He went back in the summer, worked hard on his game, tried to get back to the top of his game, and later on, very next year, they got fucking revenge on Orlando, swept their ass. Okay, that's part of his competitive nature. They swept them. Okay, or if it's Kobe versus LeBron, this is when I hear all the time. What about when Kobe quit against the Phoenix Suns? You ain't got to say about that. Now go run tell that. Go run tell that. Like, okay, did Kobe quit on his team? Um, to an extent, yeah, he did. But let's keep everything in context. So they'll say like he blew a 3-1 lead. Don't want to bring that up. But Kobe and those Lakers really didn't even have the business being in the playoffs. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. That Lakers team, that Lakers roster is arguably the worst roster outside of Kobe Bryant in the history of that franchise. The only really good player they had, like really good, was Andrew Bynum and Lamar Odom. Okay, that's it. Everybody else in that roster sucked, and Bynum was still developing at that time. The fact they won 45 games was all pretty much due to Kobe having one of the greatest offensive seasons in the history of the league. Matter of fact, I think some metrics have it ranked as the greatest offensive season in NBA history. And the fact that they were able to go up 3-1 against a Phoenix Suns team that eventually made it to the Western Conference Finals shows the greatness of Kobe Bean Bryant. Now, they did lose that 3-1 lead, but they weren't even expected to be in the playoffs before halfway through the season, and no one picked them to win that series. The Suns won 54 games that year, which was actually kind of a low total for them during that 4 or 5 year stretch where they were a Mike D'Antoni really good team in the Western Conference. I think the year before that they won 62 games. That year when Kobe and them squandered 3-1 league, Steve Nash was he was the league's MVP for the second year in a row. So we got to put everything in the context when we talk about that. I want to say something else too about this MVP shit, man. You know, you see it so much with the NBA, and you wonder to yourself, why don't you see it as much with other sports? You know, because other sports have guys who are considered GOATs. You know, in Major League Baseball, you have guys like Ty Cobb, Babe Ruth for that era. A little later on, you might have somebody that might tell you it was Joe DiMaggio. Somebody might tell you it was Ted Williams. Somebody might tell you it was Willie Mays. Somebody will tell you, Mickey Mantle would have been a GOAT for him for injuries. Somebody might tell you, the greatest, pitchers don't get really brought up much, but somebody might tell you it was Sandy Koufax, even though he didn't have much of a career. Somebody might tell you it was Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Ken Griffey Jr. before the injuries. I don't even want to get into football, but you hear the same names: Jerry Rice, Tom Brady, Joe Montana, Jim Brown, maybe Peyton Manning. You might hear those names, but not the same way that you hear it with the NBA. To me, it's this. Number one, the NBA is extraordinarily popular with young fans. All right, younger fans love the NBA. The NFL, to me, is more. It has a larger fan base, but older fans, 50 plus, love the NFL. They don't really love the NBA like that. They don't really like the NBA as much as they might have 20, 30 years ago. And I think there's various reasons for that. And also, if you look at these demographics, right? Demographics were started becoming very important and popular starting in the 1970s when it came to TV. All right. What are some of the most highly sought after demographics, right? And the most sought after demographics are like 18 to 29 year olds and 29 to 54 year olds. All right. So let's look at this. The 18-year olds right now would have been born in 2002, which is just a year before LeBron Ramon James made his NBA debut. And then on the other end of the spectrum, you have the 54-year-olds who would have been born around 1966, right? 65, which is not too far behind Michael Jordan, who was born in 1963. So they've been in his generation. So you have all these guys. You have all of this age bracket: 18-year-olds to 54-year-olds. The younger ones being fervent LeBron James fans, clashing against the older Michael Jordan fans. It's perfect. If I'm a TV executive, it's a perfect formula. And it makes absolute sense. Let me tell you something like this. If I'm an ESPN executive, I'm not pushing the NFL, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, Tom Brady is already, 42? He's been playing for 20 years. So Tom Brady is very popular with those probably in my generation, a little bit older, all right? So let's say 30 to 54-year-olds, 29 to 54-year-old, right? Patrick Mahomes, if he does indeed go on to win multiple Super Bowls, and as well as put out statistics that even outshine the Peyton Mannings and the Tom Brady's and the Drew Brees and the Aaron Rodgers. Let's say he's putting up numbers that we thought you couldn't see in about 5 to 6 years, somewhere in that range. Let's say he won a couple more Super Bowls. He's putting out, you know, numbers that we hadn't seen before. You're going to start seeing, because of demographics, you're going to start seeing that GOAT argument shift to the NFL. And Tom Brady and New England Patriots fans are going to be crying the blues. This guy hasn't done anything. Tom Brady had a 20-year run, and Patrick Mahomes only been doing it for 6 years. And blah, 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 blah. And then the Kansas City Chiefs fans be like, yeah, but Mahomes is already halfway there, and he's only played 6 years. He's already halfway there in rings. He got 3 rings. And Tom Brady's never thrown for 50 touchdowns in 4 seasons. He's already done it in his first 4 out of 6 seasons. Patrick Mahomes is clearly the better quarterback. They're going to be saying he's clearly the better quarterback. I'm like, these stupid fuckers. ESPN's going to be cashing in. But in reality, it closes it out with this thing. To be honest with you, to me, I think Michael Jordan's a GOAT. But there are other people who, I understand their arguments. Like, of course, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Of course, Wilt Chamberlain. I get it. Some people will say Bill Russell. Um, I don't agree with it, but I understand where they're coming from with it. Um, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson. Um, some people might bring up Kobe. Um, Tim Duncan, maybe. Even Oscar Robertson, maybe even Shaq. Julius Erving. I don't know. If you include Julius Erving's ABA career, even him. So there's various players that could be part of the argument. Some years ago, I said this before, when I was growing up, Elgin Baylor's name used to be brought up a lot more than it is now. I mean, we look at Elgin Baylor's career averages; they're scary. Like 27.4 points, 13.5 rebounds. I don't know how many assists, but maybe like 3.5 or so many assists. Elgin Baylor was a great player. Um, he wasn't a great shooter, but he was a great basketball player. And yeah, but that's pretty much all I got to say, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm like I said, I truly believe it's the GOAT. Michael Jordan's the GOAT, but I do understand other people being brought up in the argument, though. You know, but tell me what you guys think.